At the edge of the valley, a river ran restlessly, rushing forward with all the force of youth. Its waters sparkled beneath the sun, feeding fields, villages, and forests along its path. To those who lived by its banks, it was life itself. Yet for all its gifts, the river never paused. It was always in a hurry, always chasing, always reaching for the sea, as though its existence depended upon the faraway horizon. But in its race toward the ocean, the river forgot something. It forgot where it had begun. Long ago, high in the silent embrace of the mountains, the river had been born from a small spring. That spring was clear, gentle, and pure, offering water so sweet that even wild animals would kneel to drink. But the river, as it grew, stopped looking back. In its hunger for more, it began to believe that greatness lay only in reaching the ocean, never in remembering its source. One evening, as the river twisted around an ancient monastery, an elder monk sat quietly by its side. He had watched this river for decades, had seen it change, had seen the banks eroded by its force, and the floods it brought when its pride grew too strong. When Arvind, a young villager, came to the monk seeking guidance, the monk gestured toward the river. "Master," Arvind said, bowing respectfully, "I feel lost. I work day and night, but my heart is restless. I chase success, yet the more I gain, the emptier I feel. Why do I never arrive?" The monk's eyes, deep as still water, lingered on the rushing current. "Do you see this river, Arvind? It runs endlessly, never satisfied. Tell me, where is it going?" "To the ocean," Arvind replied without hesitation. "And what waits in the ocean?" Arvind hesitated. "I suppose nothing but more water." The monk smiled softly. "Yes, endless water. A place where the river loses itself completely. But tell me, if the river only races forward, never remembering its source, what happens when the floods come? What happens when its path dries? What happens when it forgets where its strength came from?" Arvind looked at the restless waters. He had never thought of it that way. "The ocean swallows all rivers," the monk continued, "but the river's true power, its purity, its sweetness, all come from its source. Without that mountain spring, this river would not exist. Without your source, Arvind, you cannot exist either. That is why you feel empty. You have forgotten your beginning." Arvind frowned. "My beginning?" "Yes," said the monk. "The place of your first truth, the values your heart once held, the dream you believed in before the world filled you with noise. The river within you has been so busy rushing toward the sea of recognition, wealth, and approval that you have forgotten the spring of your own being. That is why no achievement tastes sweet anymore, for what use is water that has forgotten its purity?" The words struck Arvind deeply. He remembered being a boy, painting pictures in the dust, singing under the banyan tree, dreaming of becoming an artist. But as years passed, he buried those dreams under duties, comparisons, and the weight of proving himself to others. He became a merchant, successful in trade, but starved in spirit. He whispered, almost to himself, I abandoned myself." The monk placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "So has this river. But you can learn from it. To heal, you must return. Not to live in the past, but to drink again from your spring. Ask yourself, who were you before the world told you who to be? What was the song of your soul before it was drowned by the noise of others? That is your source. Without it, you will always feel thirsty, no matter how much ocean you gather." For days, Arvind could not shake those words. He began walking alone into the hills, remembering the places of his childhood. He sat by the old banyan tree, now gnarled and vast, and closed his eyes. He picked up a brush and painted once again, clumsy strokes at first, but honest ones. The colors did not bring him wealth or recognition, but they filled him with something far greater: peace. Slowly, Arvind returned to his life, but this time with balance. He still traded, still worked, but every morning he painted before beginning the day. He realized that success meant little without the sweetness of the source. His business grew, yes, but more importantly, his spirit flowed with clarity. Years later, travelers would visit Arvind's village and marvel at both his trade and his art. His paintings hung in homes, temples, and even distant markets. When asked how he managed to succeed in both, he would always point toward the river and say, "Because I remembered my source." And so, dear listener, let me ask you, where have you been running? Toward the ocean of endless wanting? Toward the horizon of recognition that never truly arrives? Perhaps, like Arvind, you too have forgotten your source. Pause for a moment. Remember what once set your heart on fire. Return to it, not to live in the past, but to carry its purity into your present, because a river without its source is only water. But a river that remembers its spring can nourish the world. So stay with us until the end of each story. Each tale is like a river guiding you back to your own source. If this touched you, subscribe for more. And in the comments, share. What is the one forgotten truth or dream you wish to return to? Your reflection might help someone else find their way home. Remember, greatness is not in reaching the sea. Greatness is in flowing with the purity of your beginning.